So, biggest misconceptions about the college admissions process? That's a really good question. There's a lot out there. A lot of times, especially in a place like Leander, where you have so many high achieving students, students I think sometimes are concerned that if they're not in the top 10%, they don't have a chance at admission to a top university. Especially at A&M, like that's not the case. We really review students holistically. So the things that happen in the classroom are important. The things that happen outside the classroom are important. Those personal experiences, unique opportunities, life challenges, we consider all of those things. So for students as they're, entering high school and kind of starting that journey, I tell a lot of students your application process to college starts right then. And so it doesn't start when you're a senior in high school. It doesn't start when you're a junior kind of looking at colleges. It really starts as a freshman, and it's what you get involved in. Because a lot of students think it's just your grades, just your classroom time that matter, and that's not true. It's how you spend your time outside of the classroom as well. So when you're entering in as a freshman, you need to be looking at things. What can I be involved in, not just for a year, but maybe all 4 years? What are organizations that I can join that I can then progress to leadership positions in? And so it's a really kind of strategic when you're entering in high school, not just to set yourself up well in the classroom, but outside as well. Froylan, do you have things to add? There's so many out there.
Yeah, honestly, but on the top of my head, I really do kind of what we said earlier already about front loading or overloading on the dual credit. I got to make sure my transcript looks stellar. Well, again, you're going to hurt yourself essentially. I mean, that isn't necessarily the best thing, is just to overwhelm yourself with pre-AP or AP or dual credit. We have to know about the rigor. That's the other part of it, is, again, and it goes into the students not really giving a full picture of their time commitment to the activity. And honestly, sometimes it does help out in providing more of a description or into their essay or into some of the short answers that we allow, is to talk more about their commitment or even expand more on their certain activity or their growth in that activity. So.
So when we're looking at applications and we see students who've been involved in an activity, such as band for 4 years, for the most part, that's already going to tell us the student can juggle things, that they have, had to exert time, like management skills, that kind of thing. But it definitely tells us, a consistency and a commitment at a high level.
But what we like to see, again, like we've said already, I think it's just that continuity, that consistency. I honestly, I love to see students that could even go the extra mile on that and show leadership within the band. Whether it is, progression within the chair, but also maybe drum majors or maybe a section leader of some sort, because that speaks volumes as well.
So I think the best advice that I ever got about kind of worrying about that GPA, because I was that kid in high school. I was so concerned about that number. I was so concerned about my class rank. And a lot of it had to do with my own personal competitiveness and wanting to be the best, which is a good drive to have as long as you don't let that define you. But my sister-in-law told me, she's like, that number, as soon as you graduate high school, you will never talk about it again. And so while it's important for those 4 years, as soon as you step on college, your world kind of implodes and it gets so much bigger than it was in high school. And so why are you going to let, a 3-digit number control 4 years of your life? And so a lot of students, I say, yes, those numbers are important, but keep in mind, that's not the only thing we look at. We look at all of those extra things and we find those things equally important. And so just keep that in mind. And I think too, when you look at testing statistically, good test scores aren't always an indication that a student will be successful. And so it's those other things. It's your time management skills, it's your grit, it's how you are in the face of obstacles and how you persevere that are equally important. And we look for those things on our applications. That's my biggest advice, is those, that 3-digit number, that's going to follow you around until you graduate, and then you will never think about it again. And so invest your time in the things that you'll remember, which will be things like band, and it'll be things like the chamber music course that you mentioned. Things that are really going to impact how you live your life, essentially.
Right.
Yeah. And just a comment, band, again, from the students that I've worked with, I mean, it's been so quintessential to their lives, and the memories they have garnished from that across the board has been, I mean, it's a relationship, it's a bond, it's something special that, even if you didn't even go to the same school, but you've been in high school band, there's like this certain, it's like the military, essentially. Like, you have like
this community.
It is like, you don't speak about it, but yeah, you know what we talk about. So, I mean, there's something special about it, and I hope students are able to recognize like the bonds and the experiences and what's shared. I mean, it's almost like something you carry through for like the rest of your life. So